Hello everyone. The thing I want to talk about is letting Holy Spirit in. Letting Spirit decide things for you. And just letting it into your daily tasks, because when you come from a place of ego and survival and fear and getting things done, you're kind of in a place in your heart where you've shut your higher self off. You've shut that part of you that is creative, beautiful, everything, inspirational, spontaneous, everything that you can think of that is the grand mystery of life. The part of you that doesn't know what anything is, or why it's here, or what it is even, or how it even got here. This part of you, this innocent part of you that creates and looks at the creations and says, wow, where did that come from? Because we remember feeling like this as a child, but we lose so much of it as we get older, because what happens is life becomes darker. The tasks that we feel we have to do, feeling like you have to do certain things is part of it as well. This creeps in a lot with me. Feeling like I have to do dinner, like I have to get up in the morning, like I have to do whatever it is, even if it's something I like, I put that feeling of it onto it. So I put this value of having to do it. And where does that come from? Where does that feeling of absolutely have to do something? Because what? Because what will happen if you don't do it? What will happen? This is where I'm starting to go in my practice. If I don't do that, what will happen? I think once you have an intention that's coming from your higher self, it's already started. It's already beginning to manifest. And all you have to do is hold that thought of the thing that you love in your head. So no matter what you're doing, if you're coming from the right place, if you're coming from your heart center and you're looking at something in a specific way. Now I'm going to talk about this because just recently I have been physically and emotionally suffering quite a lot with what I think is ascension symptoms. So my daily life is a bit of a struggle because I don't feel well a lot of the time. I know there's loads of people out there experiencing this. I know because people keep it to themselves, but when your energy is low, you can get depressed about it because you can't do the things that you can normally do, and there's plenty of depressed, down people out there. And it's like a spiral going down, because the more depressed you are, the more likely you are to come from a place of fear when you do things, when you're doing the things that you would class as mundane things. I'm just going to put a little idea in your head about what is mundane and what isn't. There is nothing that's mundane, nothing. And that is because every single thing you do is unique. Every single thing you do is being channeled from God. And if you concentrate on that feeling, that every single thing is like an individual snowflake. It's unique. You will never, ever do it the same again. It doesn't matter how much you do a task, like going to the coffee machine, turning the coffee machine on. You think it's just a thing you do automatically, and yet it's completely perfect and unique every single time you do it. This is a practice. This is really worth concentrating on, especially when you feel a bit rough, a bit down. Concentrate on the feeling that this is never going to happen again. The way that you're doing it is coming from God, and it's the most perfect and unique thing. Everything is being created, and every single thing is a unique moment in time. It's never going to happen again, and this is happening constantly. Everything is unique. Everything is perfect, like a snowflake. Every action you do when you move your hand from here to here is a unique action. You try and do it like a robot, try and do it perfectly, exactly the same movement again, and you won't be able to do it. It's a fact. I mean, people who are singers, I used to do recordings of myself, and there's a thing in singing called overdub, where, say on a chorus part of a song, to try and emphasize that bit, you will sing the same line over and over again. Each time you do it slightly differently, and even though you're singing the same notes, so when you put all the different voices together, it sounds incredible, even though it's exactly the same notes. There's something about it, each individual recording, that's slightly different. The frequencies are slightly different, and so it makes it, the whole thing, that whole part of the song is a unique, special part. So this is just something that's helped me in my daily life, is to, before I'm doing any task, that in my head I've decided that I don't want to do that because I'm doing it all the time and I'm bored of it, or I don't want to do that because I have to do it all the time and I feel like I have to do it. I don't have to do it, because what's going to happen if I don't do it? This is another thing you need to look inside your head. And whoever told you that you had to do these things as well? Most of the time you'll find that it's you telling you to do these things. Even the stuff that you like. You know, I have an ongoing conflict with myself about what I should be doing, and I put that voice, that ego voice, even into the things that I love, so that it kind of sabotages it. There's a reason why I'm doing that. I haven't completely worked it out yet. It's one of my core beliefs, probably, that I'm not good enough. But it's so good to just look at these things in the mundane things of life, where you're sitting there chopping vegetables for making dinner. Concentrate on your action. Concentrate on what you're doing, because what you're doing is perfect. It's a creation. Every single time you do something, it's being created, and it's coming from that part of you that's mystery, that you never know how it's done, and you never know how it exactly is going to turn out, but it always turns out right. It always turns out in a way maybe that you wouldn't expect, but this part of you is always there. I had a really good message about this from Yeshua, because I was very upset the other night with this part of me, this part that is resisting doing things like making dinner because I feel that even when I feel really rough, I still have to do it. I still have to. And there are people out there, and I know I was one of them when I used to work full time, all the time, who feel like they, regardless of how bad they feel, that they still must go into work. It's really worth looking at that feeling, and trying to decide to come from a different place, because when you come from spirit, when you come from your heart center, there's a part of you that basically, the bit that's driving you all the time, it kind of goes away. You realize that there's actually, you don't have to do anything, because you start to trust. If you can just do like little things by trusting that spirit is going to tell you and being guided by spirit, what the right thing is to do. You just need to trust that with little things. Just let your intuition guide you. This is the first step, really. Because everyone relates to intuition. Everyone gets that little buzzy feeling. They think, oh yeah, this is the right thing to do. Trust that, because that's the start of it. That really is the start of coming from a higher part of yourself, or your God self, I like to call it. This is the part that is everything. And once you really tap into the part that is everything, it kind of almost can't go wrong, because you set the ball rolling. You had the intention to come from that place all the time. And then once the ball's rolling, it rolls by itself. There's almost like nothing you can do about it, because it's already in place. It's like jumping off the edge of a swimming pool, and then halfway after you've jumped off, thinking, oh, well, I want to go back now. You can't. You already set the ball rolling by asking spirit in everything that you do. It's not an easy thing to remember. I don't find it easy. But I do try and do it more and more and more. And I do it once I've noticed that I'm coming from the other place. Often if I feel down, I've been coming from the other place, because I've been telling myself, oh, you must do this, or you must do that. And it's like such a driving force within me. It's so difficult to shake it off. Because it's like a programming in us. And what we can do is undo that programming, gently and softly, like God, in everything we do and how we treat ourselves. Because it needs to be a gentle process, because if it's not a gentle process, then it's not coming from your heart. If you're trying to force yourself to go the other way, then it's coming from the same place. It's like the ego coming in through the back door, without you realizing. So we're not forcing anything to be different. We're allowing it to be how it is, but we're noticing when it is coming from that place that is, come on, hurry up. This kind of place, and where you feel like if you don't do those things, you can't survive. Now, where does that come from? Who says you won't survive? And who told you that, you need to do this job and you need to earn this amount of money? And if you don't do that, then everything is gonna go downhill. If you think that in your head, it's gonna happen, because you're already thinking that. So you're already starting the ball rolling, because that is your intention. You're intending for it to go wrong, basically. Just let it be what it is. Like a snowflake is already perfect. So are you. You're already perfect. It doesn't matter what you do. It's already started. It's already begun. It's already here in place in every moment. All you have to do is check your thoughts in every moment. And look at those thoughts and notice where it's coming from and if it's doing you harm or not. And if it's doing you harm, drop it. You don't need it. You don't need it anymore. You don't need anything. Just come from your heart center and trust that everything that comes from that place where you meet with your spirit guides, with spirit, with God, with everything that is, that it's going to be right for you. It is right. It's right now. It's in this moment, everything is perfect. And remind yourself of that all the time, constantly. Remind yourself that you are perfect and it is perfect what is happening right now. And chopping vegetables is perfect because it's a creation and all creations are perfect and complete. Try and let it just be how it is, and try when you're doing it to let that feeling of light pour into you and breathe. Breathe in the light that you are. Breathe in the God inside you that is you, and that once you have come from love, from your heart, in all tasks that you set yourself, know that it's in God. When you wash your hands, it's in God. When you chop vegetables, it's in God. When you turn around and face the cooker and put the vegetables in the pan, it's in God. When you open the drawer to get a spoon out, it's in God. All these things are in God. Everything.